Hi guys, today I'm covering the final test SP17 for a calculus course MTH 2205 at Baruch College. My goal is not to show you all the tricks and tips. My goal is to do this test as fast as I can. Normally you're given 2 hours for a final, but I will do it much faster. If you would like to learn all the tricks and tips and get detailed solutions to ace your math final at Baruch College, please click the link in the video description below. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. So let's do this. Alright, problem 1. Y is equal to x to the 3/2, then dy, that's the one we have to find, as x changes from 64 to 64.1. So very simple. We right away say dy dx and take the first derivative is equal to 3/2 x to 1/2. So therefore dy is equal to 3/2 x to 1/2 times dx. Now dx is 0.1, and we just start plugging numbers in. So dy is equal to 3/2, x is 64, so 64 to 1/2 multiplied by 0.1. So that's equal 3/2 times 8 times 0.1. We can cancel this. This is just 4. So 3 times 4 times 0.1 is 1.2. It is B. Next. Find the critical numbers. Critical numbers of a function do exist when the first derivative is equal to 0 does not exist. So before I start, let me rewrite this as 4 minus x squared to the power of 1/2, after which we'll proceed. So f prime of x equals 1/2 4 minus x squared, and lots of people forget, times the derivative of the inside. So now this is equal to 1/2, this obviously to the power of negative 1/2. So times 1 over square root of 4 minus x squared times minus 2x over 1. We can cancel this. So that's equal to negative x over square root of 4 minus x squared. Now, it's either that the top is equal to 0 or the bottom is equal to 0. And we just have to solve for both. So here x equals 0. That's very clear. Here, raise it to the second power both sides. So 4 minus x squared equals 0. Therefore, x is equal to plus or minus 2. Boom. So these two things. So therefore the solution is, the answer is D. Next. This one is actually very simple. So for all real numbers, f prime of x is greater than 0 if double prime is of x is less than 0. It means that it's always increasing but concave down. So it is D. Next. If fx is equal to x times ln of x squared, then dy dx. dy dx is just a fancy way of saying the first derivative. So let's do the box method. So x, here we got ln of x squared. Again, purpose of the video is just to do it fast, not to show all the tricks and tips. The first derivative of x is 1. First derivative of ln of x squared is 2x over x squared. And we can just cancel this out into 2 over x. And I'm just multiplying these guys out. So this is x times 2 over x plus ln of x squared times 1. So therefore, I'm just going to cancel that. So just 2 plus ln of x squared. And the answer is A. Next. The approximate area between the graph y is equal to x squared plus 2 and the x-axis. So here we have to approximate, and we have to use the right-hand approximation. So that's between 1 and 4. And we have to use 3 rectangles. So immediately, it's going to be 2, 3, and 4 for the axis. Right, and we have to, the width of each of those rectangles is going to be 1. So the reason why it's 1 is because between 2 and 3 is 1, between 3 and 4 is 1. So therefore, all we have to do is pretty much do f of 2 times 1 plus f of 3 times 1 plus f of 4 times 1. F of 2 is equal to 2 squared plus 2, 6. F of 3 is equal to 3 squared, 9 plus 2, 11. And f of 4 is 4 squared plus 2. I'm plugging it in here. 4 squared plus 2 is equal to 16 plus 2, so 18. So that's equal 24 plus 11, 35. And we got this answer, 5A. Beautiful. Next. I have to find the integral. Immediately, chances size the bottom. That is u. So we say u equals x cubed plus 2x squared plus x. Take the first derivative, du dx equals 3x squared plus 4x plus 1. And I'm solving for dx. dx equals du over 3x squared plus 4x plus 1. Boom, boom. Now, let's just plug stuff in. So that's equal to integral. The top stays the same, 6x squared plus 8x plus 2 over u. And dx, we plug in that weird thing, du over 3x squared plus 4x plus 1. I can cancel these guys, get 2. So that's equal to integral of 2 over u du. Great. So let me just continue here. So that's equal to 2 integral 1 over u du, which is the same thing as 2 ln of absolute value of u plus c. So 2 ln absolute value of, the u is x cubed plus 2x squared plus x plus c. And the answer is E. 6E. Next. Next problem. Demand curve for a product is given by X. Okay. Elasticity of demand. So fortunately or unfortunately, you just have to know the formula. The elasticity of demand formula is E equals P over X times dx dp. Dx dp is the derivative of this guy right here. So let's do this first. So dx dp equals, I'm just taking the first derivative, negative 8p. Beautiful. So now E equals P over X times negative 8p. All I have to do is find X and find P. I'm already given P equals 10. So that's equal to 10 over X times negative 80, right? What is my X? In order to find X, I just have to plug in P equals 10 in here. So X equal 1000 minus 4 times 10 squared. So X equals 600. So therefore, this guy is equal to 10 over 600 times negative 80. And I cannot use a calculator, so I'll just have to do negative 800 over 600. So that's equal to negative 4/3. I think it's B. 7B. Next. The average value, again, we just have to know the formula. Formula is 1 over b minus a integral from a to b of f of x dx. Before I take that, I have to rewrite this, but I'm plugging the stuff in immediately because my goal is just to do this as fast as I can. 1 over 4 minus 1, 1 to 4, and this is x to the negative 1/2 dx. I just converted that guy. So that's equal to 1/3 x to 1/2 over 1/2, 1 to 4. So that's equal 1/3 2x to 1/2, 1/4. So that's equal 2/3 root x from 1 to 4. So that's equal 2/3 root 4 minus root 1 in brackets. So 2/3 2 minus 1, which is equal to 4/3. Where did I mess up? So let's double check. So because we do not have one of those answers like right here. So we got 1/3 x to 1/2, 1/2, 1 to 4. I'm here, it's all good. And then 2 1/2 2/3 2 minus 1. I must stop in the fact that 2 minus 1 is equal to 1, so this is just 2/3, right? So E. Next. For what value of k we'll have this a minimum at x equal -2? Alright, so the function is 3x squared plus kx minus 5. If I take the first derivative of y prime, that will be equal to 6x plus k equals 0. Now, this is the minimum. X is equal to -2. So 6 times -2 plus k. What k will give me that as a minimum? So therefore, minus 12 plus k equals 0. And k is equal to positive 12c. Next. An object is moving. Great, I got velocity, and I need to find s. Now, we know that distance s is the integral of v. So all I have to do is do the integral of 3t squared plus t dt, which is going to be equal to t cubed plus t squared over 2 plus c. This is my s of t. This is my s of t. Good. So now I just have to find the c. So can I actually cancel some of the options already? So I can pretty much cancel this, this, and this. I'm left with A or C. Chances are it's going to be A because option C right here does not have any constant. But let me just go for it. So S of 2 is equal to 2 cubed plus 2 squared over 2 plus C. That's equal 8 plus 2 plus C. That's equal 10 plus C. and that's equal to 3. So therefore, C is equal to -7, and it's clearly A, 10A. Next. So far, so good. The function has a relative maximum. Take the first derivative. F of x, f prime of x is equal to 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. Factor the 3, so it's x squared minus 4x plus 3. And then I'm just keep factoring this as x minus 1 times x minus 3. Plug this in. 1 and 3. There's a trick right here, but we're not here for the tricks right now. So x equals 0, plugging them back into the first derivative. 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 3, so that's positive. This is negative, this is positive. Relative max is going to be right here, x equals 1, b. Next, 12. Here we need to find the first derivative. So f of x equals e to the 2x times u prime, so times 2 to the x prime. 2 over x prime is equal to 2x to the -1 prime. That's equal 2 times -1 times x to the -2. That's equal to -2 over x squared. That's my prime. So that's equal to e to the 2 over x times -2 over x squared. And I just have to find one of those answers. It seems like it is D. Next. Okie dokie. So here f of x equals x to the 5th plus x, and let g be the inverse and g prime of 2. So this is actually quite challenging. Probably one of the most challenging problems on this test, but let's just do it really, really fast. So here's kind of the logic. If g of a is equal to b, then f of b will have to be equal to a if these two functions are inverse. And in this situation, it's going to be very simple. G prime of a has to be equal to 1 over f prime of b. So all we have to find is f prime of b. So in this situation, g prime of 2, which we are looking for, is equal to 1 over f prime of some magical number b, which we do not know yet. So let us find b. In order to find b, we have to know that f of b is equal to 2, and that's equal to x to the 5th plus x. So x equals 1. So b is equal to 1. So all we have to find is 1 over f prime of 1. Now, what is f prime? F prime of x equals 5x to the 4th plus 1. So f prime of 1 equals 5 times 1 to the 4th, which is just 1 plus 1. So that's equals 6. So therefore, the whole answer is just 1 over 6. A little bit confusing. Again, my goal is not to show you all the tricks and tips. My goal in this video is just to solve it as fast as I can. If you know the material, you'll be able to solve it like this as well. Now here, we don't even need to solve the problem. Here we just need to set it up. Because look at the answers, right? Very simple. So we need to maximize the total area. What's the total area? Total area is x, y. And we need to maximize it. So immediately the answer is B. We don't even have to solve it. 14b. Now here the absolute maximum on the interval from -1 to 1. So first of all, let's find the first derivative, set it to 0. So that's equal to 3x squared minus 6x. This is 3x times x minus 2. Set that to 0. We got two answers, x equals 0 and x equals 2. But we have to reject the 2 because 2 is outside of this region right here. So we're just looking at -1 and +1. And that's all we're doing. So we just plug in f of -1, f of 0, and f of 1. And we're trying to find the solutions, the answers. So, excuse me. So f of -1 is equal to -1 cubed minus 3 times -1 squared. That's equal to -1 minus 3. So that's -4. F of 0 is equal to 0. I'm just plugging 0 cubed minus 3 times 0 squared. And here it's equal to 1/3 minus 3 times 1 squared. So that's equal to 1 minus 3 equals -2. So the answer is -4, A, 15A. Moving on. Sorry, 15 is not A. 15 is, sorry, just messed it up, right? For whatever reason, I said 4. We're looking for the absolute maximum. So the answer is C, 0. See? Always have to be careful with checking your answers. Next, 16. The solution of the differential equation. All right, so those differential equations are quite simple. So dy dx equals 3x over y. Multiply them. Do the butterfly method. So this is y dy equals 3x dx. Let's take the integrals of both sides. So y squared over 2 equals 3x squared over 2 plus c. And we know that y of 0 is equal to 1, so our goal is to solve for c from here. So that's our equation. Let's solve for c first. So here we got 1 squared over 2, because y is 1, equals 3 times 0 squared, because x is 0, over 2 plus c. So therefore, it's clear that this guy is 0, therefore c is just equal to 1/2. So we got y squared over 2 equals 3x squared over 2 plus 1/2. If you multiply everything by 2, we get y squared equals 3x squared plus 1, or y is equal to square root of 3x squared plus 1, and the answer is E. Next. Here, on which interval the graph of the function is increasing. The goal is to remember that this is f prime of x. So it's increasing whenever this guy is literally just above the x-axis. So that's between -1 and 3. A. Next. Let's solve the following logarithmic equation. Alright, so we have the same base, therefore we can just combine and do the sum of log. So log with the base of 2 of x times x plus 2. Inside that, logarithm is equal to 3. So this is logarithm with the base of 2 of x squared plus 2x equal 3. Therefore, 2 to the power of 3 is equal to x squared plus 2x. So 8 is equal to x squared plus 2x. And let's just solve this quadratic equation. I'm moving 8 to the other side. And what will be my answers? It's going to be x minus plus 4, right? Times x minus 2 equals 0. Seems like that's correct. So x equals -4 and x equals 2. Now, is that the final answer? Can we just say A? We cannot say A, because if we do say A, we're not going to be rejecting. We have to reject first. We have to always remember that stuff inside the log has to be positive. So when x is equal to -4, this guy becomes negative, this log with the base of 2 of x. So we have to reject 4. So x equals 2 is the only answer, B. Very important not to reject it. All right, here. Also quite challenging, but actually, if you really think about it. So we know that the integral between -1 and 3 is 3/2. So this whole thing, a plus b plus c, is equal to 3/2. That's all we know at this point of time. Now, b is equal to 3, a is equal to 1, but since this guy is underneath the x-axis, it's not going to be counted as 1, it's going to be counted as -1. So -1 plus 3 plus c equal 3/2. So 2 plus c is equal to 3/2. We move 2 to the other side, so c is equal to -1/2. That's A. Very simple again if you know what you're doing. This guy, pretty simple as well. So let's just multiply this. This is the sum. I is equal to 2, 5, and we just I squared plus I. I just multiplied it out. So I squared plus I, we have to do this for I equals 2, for I equals 3, for I equals 4, for I equals 5. So here we got 2 squared plus 2, that's equals 6. Here we got 3 squared plus 3, that's equal 12. Here we got 4 squared plus 4 is equal to 20. Here we got 5 squared plus 5 equals 30. And I just need to add them up. So it's 18, 50, 68. Boom, B, B. Next. Here we have to find the inverse. What I would do all the time immediately, say y equals x plus 2 over x, and just substitute these numbers, substitute these variables, sorry. So this is x equals y plus 2 over y, and solve for y. So do the butterfly method, right? So that's going to be xy is equal to y plus 2, move y's to one side, so xy minus y is equal to y times x minus 1 equals 2. Therefore, y equals 2 over x minus 1. Boom. And that's my inverse, so it seems like it's E for 21. Almost done with non-calculated section. Okay. So f of g of x. F of g of x in this situation will be equal E, and instead of x, I'm plugging this guy, ln of x plus 1. But then I know the rule, and this is just equal to x plus 1. If you know the rules, guys, this test... It's not that this test is a joke. It's definitely challenging. It's definitely a challenging test. But if you know what you're doing, you will save yourself a great amount of headaches. Here I'm just looking for the first derivative immediately. Concave downward, second derivative, therefore. F double prime of x equals 12x squared minus 36x plus 24. Let's factor 12. So that's equal x squared minus 3x plus 2. And I'm factoring this more. So this is 12 times x minus 1 times x minus 2. Therefore, on my number line, this equals to 1, this is equal to 2. And I'm plugging x equals 0 into the second derivative. So 0 squared, like I'm plugging in here, into 0 squared minus 3 times 0 plus 2. That's positive. And that's another trick here. I'm flipping. Concave downwards between between 1 and 2. 23 is B. Now, 24, find the integral of that. So here we absolutely have to say that 2x is equal to u. And then we have to find the du dx. Du dx will be equal to, and therefore we have to solve for dx. So du over 2 equals dx. So that's what we are oriented towards. So this is 0, 1, e to the u times dx, which is du over 2. That's equal to 1/2 integral from 0 to 1, e to the u du, which is just 1/2 e to the u from 0 to 1. Now, keep in mind, 0 to 1 is not for u, it's for x. So you have to not forget to do the substitution back. E to the 2x from 0 to 1, which is equal to 1/2 e squared minus e to the 0, which is equal to 1/2 e squared minus 1. And that's our answer. This is A, 24A. And then the last for the non-calculator section. So we have to linearize. In order for us to linearize, there are a couple of steps. So first of all, let's find the f prime of x. F prime of x. Before we find f prime of x, we have to rewrite f of x equals 4 plus x to 1/2. Always rewrite. So then f prime of x is equal to 1/2 4 plus x to negative 1/2 times 1. The derivative of the inside is 1, but just double check. So 1/2 over 1 over root of 4 plus x, which is the same thing as 1 over 2 root 4 plus x. That's our first derivative. Now f prime of 0 is equal to 1 over 2 root of 4 plus 0 is equal to 1 over 2 times root 4, which is the same thing as 1/4. That's our slope. And then we have to find f of 0. That's our third step. F of 0, just plug in into the original 4 plus 0 here, so that's root of 4, so that's just 2. And now, final step, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So therefore, y minus 2 equals 1/4 times x minus 0, so just 1/4 x. Therefore, y equals 1/4 x plus 2. Boom. That's our formula. But that's not what they're asking us. They're asking us to approximate f of 0.12, so you just have to plug it in. So y equals 1/4 times 0.12 plus 2. Here we have to use math. So that's equal to 0.12 over 4 plus 2, which is the same thing as 2.03, which is B, 25. We are now ready to move to the calculator section. And here we got this amazing calculator for us to help us with everything. But again, just because we have a calculator, it does not mean that we should not be writing stuff out. We absolutely should be. So let's go. Here we got problem number 26. This is our distance, and we need to find the velocity. We need to find the time t at which the velocity is equal to 166. So I know that s prime of t is equal to v of t. And then I just need to use the solve function. So let's proceed. So here we got the derivative of t cubed minus 1.5 t squared minus 2t comma t. Boom. And then after this, we have to solve it whenever that thing. Never type it again. Save your time. You're on the test. So here we just need to solve. Boom. So t is equal to 8 or t is equal to negative 7. So the answer is B. Next, 27. The function has a horizontal tangent line. In order for us to find the horizontal tangent line, we just have to find the first derivative. Watch for the parentheses. 3x squared plus x minus 2 over e to the x comma x. Find that derivative, and then we set that equal to 0. 0 comma x, boom. And obviously we need to use the diamond to find the real answer, so it's 2.135. okay, so here we are dealing with the answer B. Next, the total cost was the maximum profit. Okay, so whenever possible, write stuff out. So profit equals revenue minus cost. Revenue in our situation is equal to 6x. Cost in our situation is equal to 0.01 x cubed minus 0.6x squared plus 13x. What I would do immediately is write out the profit function. So profit equals 6x minus. I do not want to put brackets in my calculator if I can avoid them. So let me just write this out here on a piece of paper. Then p is equal to 6x minus 0.01x cubed plus 0.6x squared minus 13x. That is my profit function. I do not need to simplify it. All I have to do is find the derivative. On the test, if you do not know what to do, take the first derivative. Chances are you at least will get a partial credit for the problem. If you absolutely have no clue what to do. So here I am typing this amazing equation, find the first derivative, and then I'm setting that to 0. So find the first derivative, set it to 0, should be fine. So x is equal to 32 and 7. So I do not know and I do not have time to test it. So all I have to do, because I need to maximize the profit, so I'll just plug it in directly into the profit function. So let me retype it really fast. 6x minus 0.01 x cubed plus 0.6x squared minus 13x, vertical bar, x equal 32.9099. all right, 63, and then x equal 7.09006. So I conclude this is a 63 is the right answer because it's the highest. So A. Next, half-life of radioactive substance is 100 years. How many years does it take until only 15% of the original amount remains? So this is the equation that we have to do. So 50% half-life, 0.50, is equal to 1 plus r to the 100 years. So now we need to find something different. We need to find 0.15 equals 1 plus r to the power of t, and we need to find that t. This one is really, really weird. So let's just proceed. So if I take the root of the 100th power, that's where the calculator question has to be solved by hand first. And then I subtract 1, I get root of 100th power of 0.50 minus 1 equals r. Then I plug that r in here. So here I get 0.15 equals 1 plus root of the 100th power 0.50 minus 1 to the power of t. In other words, I get the ones get cancelled, so it's 0.15 equals root of the 100th power of 1/2 to the power of t. That's pretty much what I have to solve. Now, how the hell do I type this into the calculator? So this is 0.15 equals 0.50 to the power of 100 and then to the power of t. And that's what I have to solve. That's kind of the equation I have to solve. So I need to watch my brackets. 0.15 equals bracket 0.50 to the power of 1 over 100, and I might mess up my brackets. And then that is also to the power of t. So that's like pretty much like power right here and multiplied by t. Boom. And I think I put an extra bracket before the 0.50, so boom, comma, t. Let's see what it can give me. Boom, 273. So it's A. Next, population of any town was 100 on January 2016 and is growing continuous rate of 4.5%. So if it is a continuous rate, but it's yearly growth rate, then I have to use this whole P is equal to A times 1 plus R to the power of T. P is my final 200,000. A is my current 100,000. 1 plus R, 1 plus 0.045 to the power of t. And I have to find t. So I do solve 200,000 equals, making sure I did not mess up the zeros, 100,000 times 1 plus this guy, pretty much, I just type faster than I speak, and boom. Now I got my t equal 1574, so that's 15 years. Now 15 years plus 216 years, that's pretty much going to be 231 years, right? Well, it's going to be the year of 2031, so B. Now, if interest rate is charged at nominal rate of 15.8 compounded daily, how much will 10,000 accumulate after 2 years? So here I have to use P equals A 1 plus R over N to the power of NT. Very simple, just plug stuff in. So P is what I have to find, so P is my unknown. So here it's going to be 10,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.158 over 365. Now to the power of 365 times 2. I just have to type it in. I just have to type it in without errors. 10,000. This problem, just plug it in. One of the simplest problem actually on the test. And again, I'm not explaining way too many things that I should have, but the goal of this video is not to explain the tricks and tips. The goal is to just do this as soon as I can, as fast as I can. So it's going to be 13,715. So 31 is supposed to be C. Next, 32. All right, so this problem, if I see the table, and my goal is just to figure out they want exponential function. So for the exponential function, purely calculated problem. Here I'm going for my data matrix. I'm doing U. So here I used all my C variables, so I'm just going to do a D variable. Let's see if I do D3. Will it let me? Let's see. Boom, it did. So I just type it in. So for years, I type it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these are the 6 years I got. And here I have to type the rest. So I'm typing 0.9, 1.0, 2.1, 8.3, 14.2, 28.9. And here I mistyped it, so 14.2. So now, what I have to do is do the actual function. So instead of 2var, I'm using exponential regression. And in here, I'm typing C1. Of course, I have to use all these letters. And here I'm typing C, C2. Enter. Boom. So now my exponential function, I have to really write it carefully, very, very carefully. So y equals a times b to the x. So if you know how to do this calculator thing, this problem is super easy. A is equal to 0.299287. You just literally just plug and play. And b is 2.143173. All right, so now I have to go back to home on my calculator. And I'm interested in the year of 2017. So if this was 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is going to be equal to 8. So let's type it in. I just have to type it in without mistakes. 287 multiplied by 2.143173 to the power of 8. How much is it going to be equal to? 133.2. The answer is D. Boom. Nicey nice. Now, given the demand curve and the supply curve, find the producer surplus. We have to know the formula Px minus, in this situation, since we're looking for the producer surplus, supply curve. All right. Now, what the hell is P or X? This is the point of equilibrium. To find the point of equilibrium, I have to do the solve function. 35 minus x squared equals 3 plus x squared comma x. Boom. So I got x equal 4. Now I have to find the p. In order to find the p, I plug it into, say, the supply curve. So it's 3 plus 4 squared. I got 19. So my p is 19. Beautiful. So now, therefore, I have 76 minus. Here I have from 0 to 4 of the supply curve. Supply curve is 3 plus x squared dx. And I don't want to solve anything myself because I have a calculator. So this is the integral of 3 plus x squared, although presumably it actually would have been easier potentially to just solve it by hand, but screw it. So boom, I got 33.3, so 76 minus that. How much is that going to be equal to? 42.66, that's B. B. Great. The cost function, find the average cost function. Average cost function is C of x is equal to C of x over x, which is just 2x squared minus 3x plus 5 over x. I have to find whenever it's minimized. So, in order to find that, first let's find the derivative of 2x squared minus 3x plus 5 divided by x comma x. Boom. And now I have to solve this equals 0. As you notice in the majority of those problems, those two steps, find the derivative, e. Find the derivative and then set it to 0. That's pretty much what you have to know. And final question. Find the area enclosed. Great. So I clearly see this is the line. So for the first interval from 1 to 2, this is the integral from 1 to 2, my function is on top. So x cubed minus 8x squared plus 18x minus 5. And then minus x plus 5 dx. Now for the second one is the other way around. So this is from 2 to 5. The line x plus 5 is on top minus x cubed minus 8x squared plus 18x minus 5 dx. All I have to do, type it without any errors. Integrate. And we're going to be done with this amazing test. So x cubed minus 8x squared plus 18x minus 5, then minus x minus 5 comma x comma 1 comma 2. Boom, boom. The answer is 712. And for the second one, what I actually can do as a trick is just do 2 comma 5 without retyping any of that stuff and just, you know, switching the sign. So it's going to be 45 over 4 plus 7 over 12. I just saved myself a lot of time of retyping. Boom, 11.83. So 11.83 is B. A very challenging test, but if you know your stuff, it's not as bad. Thank you very much for watching. Again, my goal was not to show you all the tricks and tips. My goal was to do this test as fast as I can. If you would like to learn all the tricks and tips and get detailed solutions to ACM Math Final at Baruch College, please click the link in the video description below. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.